So, everything is looking good. There's not much water in, and I feel that this boat needs to be made perfect, really, before I take it out to sea again. I might even not even launch it next year. It came to me in the night that I really need to get this boat good, and it may be the following year that I launch it, depending on how we go with the engine. But I don't want to rush this job. It's necessary to get it right. So perhaps it will take me longer than the beginning of next season to do it, because I intend to go on a special trip with this boat, and I want to at that point feel that all the systems are ship shape and I know everything. At the moment I know most of the systems, but the engine and the toilets and things like that, I need to get these systems sorted out. And also the boat needs to be, a lot of things need removing, so it's made more simple and everything's in its correct place. And it takes a long time to do this. A small boat, especially if there's too many things in it, it's easier to do it if it's empty. And so what I might do this time is I might take some of this stuff to Bromyard and sort through it and come back with it in a more organized fashion, in containers that can go into the places that they're supposed to go into. And we'll just have to see how we get on with that. But it's a very, very big job fitting out small sailboats. More difficult than most people imagine, and not to be embarked upon lightly, I suppose. But if you find yourself buying an old sailboat, well, that's your destiny. You've just got to get on with it. And it's necessary to do the best job we can do under the circumstances, because, you know, if you haven't got a lot of money to throw at it, you have to improvise a little, and that's what we're doing now. Well, the weather bucked up, so I thought one day, that's the only fine day we're going to get, so I did some painting today. I painted out here with some non-slip deck paint, and it seems to have come out okay. I only gave it one coat. I didn't think it needed any more, because it was only just starting to go, the underside. Only one or two places which were a bit dodgy. But yeah, it's come out okay. And I've carpeted in here now, so you can see the colour scheme is blue by the looks of things. And I also painted these walls with white water-based emulsion over the vinyl, and it looks like it's done really good. I've given it 2 coats, as you want a fairly thick skin, otherwise it might just fall off. But it seems to be looking good now. The table, of course, is ever used now, most useful object in the boat. And it's a bit of a nightmare in here space-wise, but it'll be okay once we stop working in it, and everything in its place, and the place for everything. I also painted some all the deck hardware, the iron deck hardware and railing. I'll show you that now. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Well, we've found a good place. We can put the camera on the little table. So you find out how that works. And it's interesting, this little table, I didn't design it so the leg would move. You know, I designed it so the leg would be straight up and down. But as you slide this table up and down, it can be at different heights, and so you can change the angle of the leg and bring the table to a different level. So it works perfectly. You know, I'll show you with the camera on it. I just shift the leg a bit, and now it should be a bit more level. So I had quite a big day today, really. Very good, actually. Oh, yeah. Very good day. So, first of all, we got the walls painted here. I don't know if you can see, but I just painted just acrylic wall paint, house paint, 2 coats, one yesterday and one today, and it's done a really good job. I haven't bothered to paint the ceiling. The ceiling's still looking good, but this is nice. It's a bit of a creamy colour. This is white, so white and cream. It's quite nice, really. And after painting this, we painted all of the deck fittings, the metal fittings on the deck, which I have photos, videos of. And finally, we masked up all of the cockpit area, and this is all now nicely painted with the deck paint. And the deck paint's quite nice. It's taken most of the day to dry. Now it's pretty well, you wouldn't walk on it yet, but certainly in the morning it'll probably be walkable. And it's very good surface. It's not rough, but it's not slippery. So that's good. It's got kind of like a matte surface. And it wasn't difficult to use. The paint, it's international paint, and the paint is, when you open the can, it's like it's emulsified. It's not, you don't have to, hardly have to, you can't really stir it much. This was the same, you didn't have to stir this either. And it's like a jelly, and it's really, really easy to paint on. It doesn't run, it doesn't drip. So it's a very convenient paint. I'll be using more of this. So, quite a bit of progress today, and I've been working out some of the other systems. I want to buy some canvas when I get back to Bromyard. I've got a sewing machine. I want to sew some bags to store stuff around the rails of the boat. I want to put a bag to keep the lines in at the front. So mainly for 20 meters of snubbing rope to attach to the anchor with an anchor hook. And whilst I was doing that, I sort of looked at the systems at the back, and I'm also going to get some line, a shore line that I'm going to put on a hose reel at the back of the boat. And this is also going to double as a long line fishing system. And I'm going to attach a float, and I'm going to mount the anchor at the back there, so that you can throw the anchor down on the emergency on the shoreline. It's floating line, but that's okay. You can throw the anchor down on the shoreline, or you can throw it down on a separate, shorter fishing line. So this is the anchor will go to the bottom with the chain, and then the floating line come up from there with a float on the top, and then the line continue with perhaps 4, I'm not going to make many, just 4 hooks that you can bait up and just leave floating either next to the boat, or you can drop it and go sailing and come back later. Whatever you think is a good spot. And I want a sew bag to put all that gear in so they can hang from the back rail. So I'm going to put the line into the back rail so that it can wind from within and be stored inside the back rail on the side. And then going round the back rail, the first position I'm going to put, which I haven't got under the solar panel yet, I'm going to put another bag there for the long line, and the float can all go in there. And then on the other side I'm going to do an identical bag, and that's going to have the wet weather gear in it, so that you can take the wet weather gear out, put it on, and before you come back in the cockpit you can take it off and put it out there back in the bag wet, if you like, so that you don't have to bring the wet weather gear into the cockpit, into the lounge area here, because such a small boat, you just can't. You want to keep this completely dry, so to leave the wet weather gear outside there, and you just pull it out. It doesn't matter if it's still wet. You just put it on, and it stops you getting soaked really. Just a top and the pants over the normal gear. So that's really the system. Now I've also worked out a cheap way of doing my stanchions. They need doing next time I come, so I won't go into it now, but it's good to get all these systems sorted. Now the next little gadget here is this battery condition monitoring computer, and what it is it's the computer, and on the back is a wiring diagram, and then there's the shunt, and it comes with the wires that you need to wire it. Not for the shunt, you have to wire the shunt manually. So I'll tell you how to do it, because this is a very simple arrangement. So what we're going to do is, at the moment the wire comes from the negative side of the batteries into the solar charge controller. So where the wire goes up the wall here, I'm going to put this in its place. I'm going to bring the wire that goes into the solar charge controller into here. I'm going to put a you know, what do you call those things, an eye thing on it, so it can bolt onto there. I'm going to put another short piece of cable with an eye on it, can bolt onto there, and then straight up into the solar charge controller. So that gives me a shunt underneath the solar charge controller. And then the little cover that I made to cover up all the wiring, this will be directly in front of it, and so this can be mounted into that little panel, and then it's close enough you can just pull the panel off and attach the wires and push it back on again, and the wires just go onto this part of the shunt here. It also needs to be connected to the positive side of the battery as well. So you can probably do that just straight into the solar charge controller, just where it screws in. Just screw another wire in there. That's all it is really. And all the rest are on the shunt. Yeah, so very, very simple arrangement. And then I'll be able to tell exactly what's going on over time, and immediately as I turn things on, I'll know what current they're drawing, and I'll be able to see which is my most economical and how economical the systems are. Lighting, this kind of lighting, I have my doubts about how economical it is. It seems pretty bright in here. This is supposed to be one LED, so I don't know, maybe they're brighter than one LED, I don't know how they make these things really. But the other light is much, much brighter in the kitchen, so I think that's You know, it'd be nice to know exactly how many watts amps it's drawing, so that I can see which option as I turn each light on, which is the most economical, how much more economical it is. Also, I want to test other things, like, for example, when my inverter, when I put the crocodile clip on the inverter, I get a big spark, like it's firing up the power supply, but then there's not much of a spark after that. So maybe it doesn't draw that much current, only initially, I don't know. It'd be nice to know. I don't like to leave it connected because I think maybe it's drawing power, you know, because it makes such a big flash. I'll be able to see, with this device will tell me just how much it is drawing and whether it is worth leaving it plugged in or not. And the same with all the other equipment on board. And most importantly, the navigation lights. I want to know whether they outrageously use a lot of power or not, because if it'll be obvious if they're LEDs or not. So I'm hoping may start, I don't know when I'll start this. When my hands move is when I'll start this. And this one is 50 amp. This is got a 50 amp shunt. Apparently you can use it even without a shunt. Only a certain amperage. I don't know, I haven't got a piece of paper with me, but I've got the one with a shunt anyway. So there you go. So I must be getting close to doing what I've needs to do here. I've got one piece of carpet left that I haven't done yet. And maybe I'm not going to do it because I found out that you can't actually drill through carpet, this kind of carpet. If you drill through the carpet, it melts and attaches to the drill bit and winds up and pulls a big thread out of the carpet, destroying your carpet. And so it's not actually possible, once this carpet's up, to drill a hole through it. You'd have to punch a hole through it before you put anything on. And so one of the things I'm going to get, I'm going to order when I get back, is a tool to put grommets on, so that I can put an extra grommets to my tarpaulin for my boat tent. And this should have a punch, and so once I have those punches, I'll be able to drill holes. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to carpet or not, because there may be other things that need to go on the wall still. I'll find out. I don't know, because I only find these things out as I do them. And if I leave here without putting the carpet up, I'll know that's the reason for it. I'm very, very pleased with the carpet effect. It makes the whole boat feel more modern, more clean, and it also gives them more of a dimensional. It seems to be bigger inside here, because having everything, these cork tiles with squares on them, I don't know, it doesn't give you a background really. Everything's like bitsy, but with this nice clean carpet behind everything, then everything looks spread out, and with all the dimensions here, with the table and everything, you can see more three-dimensional space. And so this three-dimensional space seems bigger than what it was before. The other thing I've been doing is, as I've been finding I need stuff, I've been doing it. And so I'll just drill a hole and screw a hook in. So I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got 4 hooks I screwed in. I think it's all the brass hooks I've got really. And I did that over a period of time because I wet the towel really, the big towel, this takes up a lot of space, and so I had to rig up a line in here to dry stuff on, and you need a drying line. And so I thought, well, this has to be a permanent arrangement, so what I need is to make sure that you can take the line off and move it to another hook, and so that you can use that area of the boat, and then when you're not using it you can shift it back again so that you can move these lines around, and so they don't get in your way. But you need to have them fully extended if you're going to dry anything. And so at the moment, I'll show you, excuse the state of the towel and everything, because everything needs washing, but I'll show you here. Yeah, we've got, so it's our wall that's still got to be done. Then we've got our carpet over there, you can see, looking tidy. Now, this is now the washing lines that we've got running up here, and this is quite good. That's in front of the galley. So I'm not using the galley now, so they can sit there. But if I want to use a galley, I can just unhook that over there and hook it up over to there, and then use the galley. And yeah, or I can double it up here. I can put it on here and back to here, and there's another hook at the top there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hooks I've put up. So this makes a big difference. So I'm going to have a bit of chocolate cake now, and I'm going to go to bed. So see you later. What a great chocolate cake this is. This is from Aldi, £1.60 for a whole cake. And it's the most chocolatey thing. And you get these, go to restaurants that give you death by chocolate. And this is what it is, it's as good as that.